Hello and welcome back to Comtext Flash Game Unit. Now I'm going to show you how to make a level 2 because as you can see I'm pretty much out of room on the ground that I made so I can't show you enemies unless I make another level. Now it's up to you and your teacher to decide whether you have time for that, but for now I'm just going to assume that you do. Go to Insert, Timeline, and then Frame. Now these aren't keyframes, so you're going to have to select all of them and then right click, Insert Blank Keyframe. Perfect. Now, whatever you want from this scene, we're going to have to bring into the next. So we definitely want our char layer. So I'm going to select the layer, press Control C, go to the next, go to the corresponding frame in the next frame, and then we're going to go Edit, Paste in Place. So this will make sure you just put in the exact same spot. Do the same for. I'm going to do the same for ground. You don't have to if you want to design a new ground in your next level. But for me, it's just going to be fine just like that. We're also going to make sure you copy the VCAM. There you go. And as always, at the top here on this frame, we're going to go to Actions and just type Stop. Two things we need to do to finish this is we need to draw a new box. So a teleport box. You'd put this at the end of your level, and then when the player hits it, they can get to the next level. So you convert it to symbol, make sure you're on movie clip again, and type in next level box. Okay. Alright, box one. Okay. And then we're going to go to the actions of that, and in the notepad document, I've left you this code, which is a mixture of our TP to start code and our button code, so it's just going to send us to the fourth frame. So if you remember, our fourth frame is it was the death screen, so we have to go back into the VCAM and change how we kill the player. So step into the VCAM, and then it's going to be a little hard to select because we've made it invisible now, but if you just keep clicking around, eventually you'll get the backboard again, and then go to Actions, and instead of saying underscore global.timer is less than 0, go to and play 4, we're going to change it to go to and play 5. Now if we test it out, if we run the game, and we hit the box, so everything disappears, and while it may look like we're not on, that we've just deleted everything, we are actually on the fourth frame now. So on here, we can finally start making some enemies. So you can make another sprite sheet or find another one online, but for me I'm just going to make some stars and we're just going to have them move around. So it's not a star, but it'll work. Good. So I've created this this object here, and then I'm going to convert it to a symbol, as we always do. Enemy type 1. So now in his action script, we're going to add in this code, which is once again in the notepad document. And what it's going to do is just, as you can see, to hit test, and then if it does, go to and play 5. So that's our death screen. You can really make it do anything. You can make it teleport the player back to start. You can make, it reduce the timer, decrease the score. It's all up to you. The whole point of programming is to, make this your own. This is just a general guide. So now we get into the fun that is tweens. So you could raw program this. So just tell it, underscore x plus equals 1. And then if you run it, it's just going to slowly move away. And then you could set variables over here to make it turn around or, spin or, all that. But instead of doing the standard code method, you also have available tweens. So if you go here and we go into the timeline, let's just go to the 5th frame or so. And we're going to insert a keyframe there. And on this keyframe, we're going to move it, say, over to here. So now, if we right click and create classic tween, it'll slowly move its way over there over the course of the 5 frames. So let's test it. Now we didn't add a tween for it to move back, so it's just gonna be teleporting. But if we expand that a little, if you press F5, if you press F and F5, it inserts a frame for you. So now this will take 10 frames, so it's going to be a lot smoother. And then I'm going to go 10 more frames, insert keyframe, and we're going to add in another tween, and we're going to return it back to start. So at start, its position is 34. Oh, I was lucky. 34 by 34. Its end position is 34. Is make that 200 by 34. And then back here, we want to make this its end position here 34 by 34 again. 34, 34. And insert classic tween. And there we go. It's going to move back and forth. Probably a little fast still. But there you go. You now have an obstacle that you can attempt to get around. Give it a try. It's very, not the easiest thing to dodge. I'd advise making your stuff a square. As you can see, the hitbox around this is a little wonky looking. See if I can get over it. Yeah. So you'll want to keep them small probably. We're actually just going to move our enemy here. We're just going to move them. We're going to cut them out of there. We're going to create a new layer. We're going to call it enemies. Move it up near power-ups. We're going to insert keyframes here. And then on the fourth one, we're just going to go edit, paste in place. There we go. The next type of enemy we're going to add is just going to be a follower enemy, and I'm going to leave the collision code off of him just so that he can always follow us and we don't have to worry about him killing us. So create another object. Scale that down a little. Create another object. Right click, convert to symbol. We're just going to call it enemy type 2. Now for our second enemy, as always the code is on the notepad document. We've got this code I just wrote, which is very simple, so I've commented out this go to and play here, because I don't want him to kill us right yet. But it's going to see if we're more to the right of him, then he's going to move right. If we're more to the left of him, then he's going to move left. I can show you. Play. I go to it. See, very slowly, at a constant rate, follows you. It'd be a cool enemy mechanic if you've got an enemy that's always following you. It's very simple. He doesn't hurt us right now, but you can always make him hurt you. Now, I don't have time to show you too many more enemies, but what I am going to show you is how to do a trigger and an animation, because those should come very helpful when making your game. They really help bring everything together and make them look good. So first, over here, we're just going to draw a box there, and then we're going to draw a box in a different color here, and convert them both to symbols. So I'm going to call this one Trigger 1, and I'm going to call this one Animation 1. So I've placed all the code for this on the notepad document. As make sure that whatever you're going to be animating with the animation 1, make sure it's named animation 1 as well in the instance name. And trigger 1 doesn't need it because we won't be accessing any variables from here. The trigger 1 code available on the notepad, just hit test, and it's going to set a variable called move on animation 1 to true. On animation 1, we set a boolean called move, set it to false. This is the code from the return to start button. You can put whatever code you want here. If you want it to kill the player, you can. If you want to do anything, you can. And then if move is true, it's going to check that if we're more than 130 on the Y, then if we are, we're going to subtract 2. Now, it's a pretty cool effect. So, If I walk over to it, and I jump over this blue box here, see it teleports me back to start. But if I hit the trigger, so now it rises up and I can walk underneath it. So that's a quick little animation. You can use this for 1,000 different ways. You can build a bridge out of it. You can do almost anything. If you're going to be building a bridge, you'll have to make whatever this is. You're gonna have to make it in the ground layer or just copy the ground layer code. But from there, you should be able to do mostly everything that you need. If you need any help, you can PM me and I can try and help you, but I'm sure your teacher is more than capable. This is pretty much the end of these videos, unless I decide to make another one. Today's the last day of school, so can't really record another one today. You should be perfectly good for making your own game. All of this code is adaptable. I tried to make it as dynamic as possible. I tried to make it as user-friendly as possible. I didn't use anything complicated. Hopefully these were easy to follow, and I'm glad you've finished watching these videos. Have a great time in Comtech.